You ever met someone who's driving a taxi, but in their mind, they're driving straight toward their dreams? Let me tell you about one man, a taxi driver who refused to quit. Life threw him every pothole, every speed bump, and even a few flat tires, but he kept going. Not because he was rich, not because he was lucky, but because he had something most people lose too early: hope. And the funny thing is, while passengers thought he was just taking them to their destination, deep down, he was also driving himself to his. So picture this guy. His name doesn't matter. Could be me, could be you, could be your chacha who swears he once drove a taxi with only 3 wheels. But let's call him the driver. Now, every day, this man would start his taxi at sunrise, wipe the dust off the windshield like he was polishing his future, and whisper to himself, "One day, bro, one day." And then, beep, someone in a hurry would throw themselves into the backseat and yell, "Bye, Jaldi Karo, Mary Shadi Hai." Like, bro, if you're late for your own wedding, maybe rethink your life choices. Anyway, while he drove people to their destinations, he had his own secret. He wasn't born to just drive this taxi. He wanted to be a musician. The kind of guy who could take a cheap guitar, strum 2 chords, and suddenly make you feel like your heartbreak was worth it. Every night, after a full day of honking, bargaining with passengers, and pretending his air freshener still worked, he'd sit in his tiny room and play. His neighbors would complain, "Bye, thoda dear, bacha so raha hai." But he didn't stop, because dreams are louder than complaints. But life wasn't easy. The car broke down more times than his heart did. Some days, he barely had enough money for fuel, let alone guitar strings. And trust me, nothing kills a dream faster than staring at your wallet and realizing it's emptier than your fridge. But here's the kicker. He didn't quit, even when people laughed at him. Passengers would say, "Eri bai, gain bajana haito taxi kayan chala reho." And he'd just smile and say, "Mitter chal raha hai, or sapnam bai." Which, if you think about it, is the most poetic way anyone's ever told a hater to shut up. One night, after a brutally long day, he was dead tired. The kind of tired where even your soul feels like it needs a nap. But instead of collapsing on his bed, he picked up that guitar. He started strumming. And without even realizing it, he wrote a song that came straight from his pain, his hustle, his laughter at life's cruel jokes. And guess what? That one song changed everything. A passenger who happened to be a music producer overheard him humming while driving. He said, "Bye, who wrote that?" And the driver, scratching his head, said, "Who else? Google Uncle." That was his moment. From steering wheels to soundtracks, from passengers to audiences, his dream finally started moving faster than his taxi ever could. And it didn't happen because luck rang his doorbell. It happened because he never stopped knocking on the door of his own destiny, even when nobody opened it. Now listen, I know what you're thinking. Bro, I'm not a taxi driver. I don't even know how to drive a rickshaw. But that's the whole point. The taxi is just a metaphor. For some people, it's an office cubicle. For some, it's a dead-end job. For others, it's scrolling on their phone at 3 a.m., wondering why life feels like a badly written Netflix series. We all got our own taxi to drive. The question is, are you just dropping passengers off? Or are you secretly still driving towards your own dream? See, most people quit way too early. Life slaps them once, and they retire like it's the final round. They fail once, and suddenly it's, maybe I wasn't meant for this. Nah, man. If that driver had quit, the world would have lost his music. Imagine that. Every time you think about giving up, just remember, you're not just quitting for yourself. You're robbing the world of what only you can bring. And let's be real, the world already has enough TikTok dancers. We don't need your originality added to the missing persons list. The driver taught me something powerful: people will always laugh at you before they clap for you. It's the law of life. Nobody claps at the beginning of the movie, but when the hero finally wins, standing ovation. The problem is, most of us walk out of the theater before the ending because the struggle part feels too long. But the struggle, that's the best part. That's the behind the scenes footage that makes your story worth telling. And here's the truth. Dreams don't need to be massive. You don't need to want to become the next Elon Musk, launching rockets from your backyard while your mom yells at you to bring back the tandoor roti. Dreams can be small, personal, intimate. Maybe you just want to write a book, start a business, learn how to dance without looking like a malfunctioning robot. The size doesn't matter, the persistence does. Dreams don't die because they're too big. They die because we stop feeding them. People will doubt you. Oh, they'll doubt you like it's their full-time job. Yo, really? You think you can make it? They'll laugh, they'll gossip, they'll even send you those fake motivational WhatsApp quotes with flowers and butterflies pretending to support you. But here's the punchline. Your dream doesn't need their approval. The meter is running on your life, not theirs. You either sit in the driver's seat or you spend your whole life watching from the passenger side. And let me tell you something funny. Success isn't this big grand arrival. It's not like one day a band will play, balloons will fall, and Morgan Freeman will narrate, "He made it." Nah. Success happens in tiny moments. It's when the driver picked up that guitar, even though he was exhausted. It's when you choose to study one more hour, even when your brain feels fried. It's when you send that email, record that video, write that page, run that mile. Success is just a collection of small refusals to quit. So here's the golden line: you don't fail when you fall. You fail when you stop getting up. Life is like a stubborn Wi-Fi connection. It'll disconnect 100 times, but if you keep reconnecting, eventually, you'll download the life you were meant to live. And when people doubt you, let them. Haters are like potholes. They make the ride uncomfortable, but they never stop the journey unless you let them. Smile, adjust your seat, turn up your music, and keep driving. Because one day, they'll stop you and say, "Hey, remember me?" And you'll smile back and say, "Yeah, weren't you the guy who didn't believe in me?" So don't quit. Don't let the broken engine, the empty fuel tank, or the noisy passengers convince you to stop. Keep driving. Because the taxi driver didn't just take people to their destinations. He proved that persistence is the only GPS you need in life. So here's the deal, my friend. Maybe you're not a taxi driver. Maybe you're a student, an employee, an artist, or just someone trying to figure out why life feels like a traffic jam with no signal. But the lesson is the same. Don't quit your dream just because the ride feels rough. Every turn, every break, every honk, it's all part of your journey. And trust me, one day, when you finally arrive at your destination, you'll look back and laugh at how far you've come. Because you see, I'm nobody. Just an ordinary voice reminding you that ordinary people can do extraordinary things when they refuse to quit. And if a taxi driver with an old guitar and an empty pocket can chase his dream, then what's stopping you? If this story hit you somewhere deep, or at least made you laugh a little, then stick around. Subscribe to Nobody Mindset, drop a comment about your dream, and share this with someone who's about to give up. Let's remind the world that as long as the meter of life is running, so are our dreams.